Hey man, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, Terrance? This is Renee. How are you?
I'm hanging in there, Renee. Renee, I got to tell you something which is really interesting.
What's that?
You have the same name as my roommate, man.
Oh, no shit.
Well, we call him Butch because he's big, dude, but his name is Renee, man. So it was
Yeah,
kind of interesting when I seen the whole itinerary coming. I was like, yo, man, he's got my boy's name. That's it.
yeah. Maybe he was interviewing you.
Yeah, yeah, I don't have no camera going on over here, huh? I
Uh,
should.
Whichever
Hang
you
on,
want.
there it is.
There you
There.
go. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm still a little new to Zoom. I mean, I'm getting used to it. I have the webcam. I've had the thing for years, but I'm just not that videographer, video kind of guy. I just worry more about music than anything else.
Oh, yeah, I hear you. And thank goodness though that you worry about the music because fucking suffocation, man. I
Hey
I
man,
gotta
it's just we're just chugging away, trying to keep it heavy, bro. Just keeping it heavy.
and you have been for decades, man. I'm my first cassette, for suffocation was Pierce from Within. So, and then of course, went back the two
Yeah, to
previous
the earlier ones.
albums, yeah, and then of course consistently, I mean, every fucking album that y'all have had has been just brutal death metal
Yes.
and kind of help, I mean, push the scene, and so many bands are influenced by suffocation.
Yeah, it's amazing for me. It's amazing to see how bands and new bands have taken all this music that was happening from that era when I was like 20 years old and have molded it into something completely new and different, and it's gone from metalcore to deathcore to hardcore to this to that the other thing, and all those different vibes now, and it's just like it's unbelievable how they've just taken it from this level up to this level.
Yeah. But surprisingly, too, there's a lot of bands that want to replicate the old 90s death metal sound.
Yeah, I think what it's come down to is people are starting to realize that we have technology now where everything is cut and paste and slice and edit, and you can get the perfect performance for every little piece of your song, and then once you make a song, you find out how incredibly perfect it is. It doesn't really represent the vibe of the actual band that's playing it.
Yeah.
So we tend to veer towards doing the things that are more organically oriented and more just in the room and in your face than sitting there day in and day out trying to edit something to make it perfect.
Yeah.
There's a big difference between things these days as opposed to back then when you had to go in the studio, and I mean, you really had to be a rehearsed band and be practiced in order to get those takes.
Right. Yeah, you're completely right. All these, it's great that we have the technology that can cut,
It
we
is.
can,
It really is. It allows us now to be at home to do our things, but
yeah.
still in the same lane, unless you kind of had that knowledge beforehand and you had somebody who was not necessarily teaching you but giving you that experience. I think it's changed a little. So now we have a lot of records that sound very similar.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's great because these musicians are really killing the game. They're really have their P's and Q's put together, and they're really striving to be new and aggressive and more technical and more faster and more everything.
Yeah.
But I still, in the same light, I do think it takes away. And I personally nowadays look for more bands that are more organically oriented, more like they did their recording in a studio on Reels than they did it on Pro Tools. That kind of thing. Oh, their last record was done live at the Fillmore or something.
Yeah.
Because then
Yeah.
you really get to hear the band for what it is, and the production values now. It's like is at such a high level that it's not giving any uniqueness to the other bands that happen to sound different. They're not being made, cookie cutter stamped to death.
Right. Right. One of the things that I've seen is some bands are actually going back to trying to record analog or trying to record like everything that they're playing
Yeah.
on that song is they're playing it. It's not they're not copy and pasting everything.
Right, 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 exactly. And that's what I strive for. I mean, in myself anyway, there's going to be those times when you're in a recording studio and you want to make the best product possible, where you're going to go back and you're going to do a punch, or you're going to go and re-record it from the beginning, or you're going to sit there and do it 15 times until you get that one stellar playthrough of it. And those are the things that like I kind of admire in newer musicians that actually go to do that. You know what I mean? Because everybody can sit behind it with a click track and just punch every single note until it's just super clean. but then it doesn't leave any transience. It doesn't leave any room for improvement. It doesn't leave anything that is actually unique, And now it's like, who wants a Xerox copy of everything?
Right.
Nobody.
Yeah, you
At
gotta
least
have
I
some you gotta have some fucking feeling in it where you're playing.
exactly feeling matters a lot. Even if you're pissed off, it matters.
That's right. Or even if you're happy, it fucking matters.
Exactly. You know where I'm coming from, man.
Yeah, yeah. So of course, I mean, y'all have Live in North America coming out next month.
Yeah,
I
we
mean, that,
do.
yeah, I mean, ode to Frank Mullen, you know what I'm saying?
Man, I'm gonna miss
Yeah,
him. I mean, I'm not gonna miss him that much because I still see that fool. I
yeah.
get to hang out with him. I just seen him 2 days ago. And we just hung out. We bullshitted. We had some stuff to go over with older band, new things. I mean, I'm friends with his whole entire family, his kids, everything. So we're all still tight friends, and it's good to know that he's still out here and I get to see him. But it kind of sucks because I know that all the fans are a bit disappointed that they're not going to be able to see him on the road anymore. And
Right,
even for me, it's going to be something like a little piece is missing.
right.
But at least I still have that opportunity to be able to hang out with Frank and talk. And who knows, maybe God willing, I'll be able to get him to do something else one day. But I'm not counting on it. Let's put it
Yeah.
that way.
No, I hear you. I mean,
you know?
like you said, y'all been together for decades, played for
Yeah.
decades. I mean, and it's strange to think about it. At the point that we're at now, to think that y'all been doing this for, I mean, Suffocation or over 30 years. But when
Yeah.
I think you joined the band. I think it's been what 31 years, maybe.
Well, I mean, I was there in the beginning, so I'm looking at 1988,
Yeah.
87 on. The band before the band was named Suffocation. I was still jamming with those guys. I just we just didn't know it was ever going to go to anything this far to this length of time.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm very fortunate to have had a career in music that way. A lot of people don't end up having that at all. So for all you people out there that play in bands and got to go on tour and actually have a record or a CD or three out, good for you because you have something else that most people don't.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
I'm very fortunate to be able to have been able to travel and be able to do this stuff with him and with the rest of my guys and with all the former lineups of this band throughout the years. 30 years is a long time to want to just fucking lose it every night.
That's right. So,
Hey, but it keeps me sane.
that's something's got to.
Yeah, that's it. That's what it is.
Yeah. So, my couple questions was this recording done in one night, or is this a like kind of best
Oh,
of
this is a live.
sounds?
This is a live record. We did this in Massachusetts on 2 years ago on the last live tour that Frank ever did with us. It just took us a while to find our engineer at the time on the stage, Mike, who we got to say thank you to Mike. He had recorded every night as much as we possibly could with availability and give us all the waves and the tracks from each night. So from that point, it took us a while because we had to sit there and listen to all of them and make sure that there was ones that weren't fucked up, that didn't have bad mic cables, that didn't have broken things, that, just shit just
Right.
technical difficulties through them. And it turned out we ended up using the one from Massachusetts. I mean, we did do some editing between the crowd and things like that. We had Christian Donaldson from Cryptopsy actually mixed and mastered it all for us, which is a great thing. So more power to Christian, man. If you guys need an engineer, definitely look him up when he's on his off time. And,
Yeah.
not touring with Cryptopsy because they're fucking awesome.
That's right.
Uh, you know, but we just wanted to take the best of the live that we could get because to have Frank come down into a studio and it just didn't have that same vibe, it didn't have that same feel, and we wanted to make sure it was going to be a little bit something special to send Frank off with, especially for the fans. At least they get to hear what Frank really sounds like
Right.
live for the last time after 30 fucking years. And I think he went out on a good note. And that's a good thing because I was kind of scared, as people's voices and things change and they go, to get that one live recording where everything is on par with what we are, it was a good thing.
Yeah.
So Massachusetts, thank you so much, man, because without you, we wouldn't have it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure. Now, I mean, the tracks are pretty much kind of like a best of throughout the years. Is there
Yeah.
any that you thought should have made that cut or made that set list?
Well, I mean, for that in particular set, I mean, that was just what Frank was more comfortable with, because Frank had been hiatused out for so much in between
Yeah,
anyway that it was just like he wasn't, practicing, he wasn't writing lyrics, he wasn't doing things of that like kind of nature, like, a regular band of musicians in it would.
yeah,
So, we just picked the ones that he felt that he was the strongest on, that everybody knew together the best, and put them forth. But of course, there's probably like another 5 songs or something that I would have loved, or that the other guys in the band at the time would have loved to have had on that live record. Obviously, we would have had a 2-hour set, you know, and it would have made it a lot more difficult, But we try to keep the set within an hour and 15 minutes, because usually if we're headlining and a lot of the time we're playing last, people are worn out from all the other opening bands by that time. So, you don't want to keep them there until 4:30 in the morning and they all have to go to work on a Wednesday.
right,
So we kind
right.
of try to keep everything as potent as possible, being the last band. And I think that the length of the set, 13 songs, is usually our normal mainstay. So I think it was okay for this album.
Yeah, yeah.
In fact, to be honest, on the vinyls, we were having to think of what songs we were going to have to cut, because the material for a CD was enough, but for vinyls, it was too much.
All right.
So it's like, for you bands out there, you got to pay attention to that shit, because it kind of sucks when you have to cut a song that you want to give to the world, and that they all deserve it, but you can't fit it on a vinyl.
Yeah, yeah. And speaking of vinyls, of course, y'all have some special editions. Y'all got some special colors, limited edition. One
Yeah.
question or one thing that I've seen is there's been some delays in getting the vinyls out. I mean, I've seen some bands are saying they're like 8 months behind until get the
Yeah.
vinyls.
Yeah, I mean, well, right now it's pretty tough in the whole music industry all around, with all the and I hate to even talk about this shit, but with all the Biden and the administration and the import export things that are going on, and with the labor shortages, even though there's jobs, there's labor shortages, and even for vinyl was behind the 8 ball to begin with. So most big vinyl factories, there's only a few left, because when CDs came out, that was it. And now
Right.
for all of us underground bands, and even then some that print vinyls, it's slaughtering the vinyl mastering houses and stuff like that, and the printing places. And so you got to figure, in this time and age, and with COVID and what's going on with that, and with not being able to have the import exports going on the right way and all that, everything has been delayed. And it really does fucking suck, because it's not giving the bands that have that have the opportunities like I did, to be able to go out of state and go across seas and play shows and and make vinyls 7 inches, do things like that. It's just hampering the whole music industry as a whole. So yeah, things are on delay from what I've heard from anybody in the music industry.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah,
mean, and that's just if anybody wants to order a vinyl, you better fucking do it now.
yeah, you better do it now. It's going to be a hot minute before you get it. I mean, some places, I know somebody that went to go and just file for a passport, and usually a passport from the post office is 4 to 6 weeks, and they were still like 2 or 3 months deep
Oh
waiting
shit.
for it. So if that gives you any, indication, even though it's a whole different business thing, yeah, things are just on hold so bad right now, and I think it really sucks. So it's cool that the bands that do get to come to the States and play actually have the opportunity to get here at this point in time.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I've noticed too that I mean, when I talk to other bands that are from overseas, just trying to get a passport to come here is expensive as hell,
Oh yeah,
and it's
oh yeah,
only for a
forget it.
year.
Yep, it's only for a year. So I mean, the one that I filed for here, and for them to have a work visa, I mean, this is something that's been slowing down Suffocation's production of music and being able to just rehearse. Our drummer's Canadian. And I mean, it's kind of fucked up that he could probably just fly from Canada to Mexico and walk across the border. But for me right now, to get him where he's only 8 hours away from us in New York by
Yeah.
driving by car, I can't get him across the border. And we filed June 21st
Oh shit,
for
man.
his visa to be able to do these shows. So we had to pull that and then expedite another one, which is going to cost us a pretty penny, but we have to do it in order to make sure that we have our drummer, because when we come back to play these shows, we want to have our whole band.
Yeah, oh,
you
yeah, for
know?
sure.
I mean, and it's just, you know, they're just making it more difficult for the musicians, for the people that are producing the merchandise, for the people that are producing the albums and the wax and the CDs and everything from that standpoint. Right now, we're being bogged down, and it's a terrible thing. You
Yeah,
know?
that is complete. That's a pretty much a shit show. That's what it
Yeah, that's a
is.
shit show. But we're still here, and we're still gonna fucking do
That's
it.
right. Just to get some history or some the way you write music, because I mean, of course, you've been doing this for a long time. I mean, help push these bands for yourself. Do you start off with like topics, or you just start riffing and start recording, or an
Well, I mean,
idea?
I think it's a big conglomeration of everything. Like for me, I do my best writing when it's late at night. I'm kind of stoned. I'm laying in my bed playing my guitar and, you know, maybe have the headphones on or something like that. And I'm just writing riffs. I'm real comfortable. It's real relaxed, you know. That's most of the time when the riffs that I like that I'm, you know, produce myself for the rest of the band or want to share with the rest of the band so we can coerce a song together. That's usually the best time for me. But we do try like almost everything, you know. So the other guys, maybe they'll have a topic on something and be like, man, this is a cool catch line. Let's write a riff to it. Or I have an idea right here on this riff. What do you think? Maybe you could write the end of it. Or, you know, one of us will just write a riff off the top of our head, like Charlie, my other guitar player, does. And I go, all right, I'm going to finish that riff off. That's cool. But you had that riff right there from like 6 months ago, man, and it would fit perfect with that. Like, let's put it together. So I mean, it goes from all of that even into the digital age where like we're sitting here on Zoom or we could be on our phone, you know, just playing riffs. Like, you know, I got my BC Rich right here, baby,
Oh yeah,
and just play a riff and just show it to each other across the internet, just so that way we each have an idea on what we're doing. So we try to coerce everything together at once at this day and age. It's a little bit different than having everybody in a room 3 4 days a week for a couple of hours just trying to write together. We do that too, but we also do the internet. We also sit in a room together. We also write songs by ourselves as much as we can and just introduce it to the rest of the guys and see what we like. So we try to not limit our scope in the writing department. You
yeah,
know, as you know, creativity is everything. So let's try it.
right. And so when it comes for lead work, because you do share the duties with Charlie,
Yeah.
at do y'all do you feel like the lead work itself is a song within a song to where you try to make it like its own individual thing?
Um, yeah, I mean, normally when we're writing a song, we use quite a few formulas in just constructing a song. And if we have decent rhythms that have enough that aren't too tech, you know, because once you get super tech and you're doing solo work over it, it kind of loses its appeal, you
Yeah,
know. It's where everything becomes a guitar solo. So we do take into consideration kind of writing riffs that will accompany solos or say at this point this is where we want a solo rhythm in the song. It would be cool to have that happen there. Sometimes it won't happen at all. It's all just a matter of how the song actually flows. But inside of it, yeah, I mean, we have to take our time in writing guitar solos too to make them fit the riff. So it's not usually a one shot thing where it's like, okay, we have that riff we're gonna play solos on, bang it out, blah, 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 and then that's that, you know.
yeah,
It's usually never like that. It's like we'll take it home, each of us, and we'll listen to the songs and we'll work on placing our notes together for it. You know, we want to have it written just as well as the music is written. You
right,
know,
right. So I did see that, of course, you all have some playthroughs, some of the older songs. Is there any possibility that because of, you got the live album coming out, maybe throwing in some playthroughs of some of your earlier stuff?
well, I mean, we have been talking about this for quite a while, and you know, obviously, just because of the whole, you know, travel situation with not having a drummer, really made it hard for us to sit there and actually just rehearse.
Yeah,
We have had him here for a little while, but then when he went back home, we were trying to make sure he could save his visitation time in the States just in case things didn't work out. We would be able to get him back across the border and do things.
yeah,
And for us, like, you know, we're really just trying to keep I don't know, trying to keep our standpoint as a whole together, you know? So it's cool. He's there and you know, but it doesn't it's not really making it that fast for us. And to do the playthroughs that we really want to do,
Yeah.
you know, like maybe just have a day that we're playing a song and we have a camera or two down in our rehearsal room and everybody get a little piece of the pie and be able to play some songs for fans and stuff like that so that they can look at it on YouTube and shit like that and be able to go, hey, that's what they were playing. You know what I mean? Not just having it as some huge distance at a big live gig somewhere where, you know, it's more focused, like the way we did Return to the Abyss. We would like to do that with the band for older material as well as new material, but it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, yeah. You know, and going back to, of course, the live album coming out, we're talking about Frank here. Is
Yeah.
there any like, any cool story that you can share from that last tour that y'all had together?
Oh man, I mean, it was a very, very drunken tour. I mean, there was just, it's too hard to explain in any way, shape, or form because there's always strange tour things, you know, from Frank Mullen being drunk, singing the Blues Brothers at 5:30 in the morning when everybody's trying to sleep, to broken television sets in the bus, like you name it. There
Yeah,
was always something, you know, always something ridiculous going on. But it really, I mean, it went by so fast that it was kind of a blur, you know?
yeah, yeah.
We just started it and went. It was like old times, you know. We had a lot of fun with our friends. We were able to go out to the places and get drunk with our friends. We were able to, you know, hang out with the fans and get a little bit of dose and let everybody say goodbye and do their thing. You know, it was a good time.
Yeah,
Really
yeah, for sure. And of course, like we were mentioning, talking about, I mean, Suffocation has been around for so long. I mean, I have my opinions that of why y'all been around for so long. I mean, I would say because y'all kick fucking ass, but
Hey,
for, for yourself,
it's in our blood, man. At least it's in mine. That's for
yeah, what would you think would be some of the major contributing factors that you think why Suffocation has been able to withstand all these different trends and actually, kind of start trends like, the y'all were kind of in the beginning this brutal death
Yeah,
metal
yeah.
started,
I
man.
mean, it has been well. I mean, I guess there was a time and place for everything. As far as what we could contribute, I mean, we were just trying to make the best, most aggressive music that we could make at the time as kids, you know. And I mean, turning 21 is still being a kid, in my opinion, which is when Effigy came out. And, you know, now that's, you know, over 30 years deep now.
Yeah,
So for the people that actually said that we made any contribution to them in their musical writing or style or gave them a little inspiration, all I can say is thank you. I don't know. That's not what we were intending on doing because, you know, we never thought it was going to last longer than 6 months, to be honest with you.
yeah,
And for us to actually getting signed to Roadrunner and do a record was a very eye-opening experience. To be able to work with Scott Burns was eye-opening, as well as many other engineers along the way. Playing live and meeting them, to playing with the bands that we knew. And I mean, you know, that was super influential for me. But as far as what I could say we contributed, you know, just being in the New York death metal band was the best that I could say that we did. You know, for everybody else, it's you know, I'm glad that you guys just appreciated and took the time to listen to the music.
yeah, for sure. And I know I only have, of course, a little bit limited time, but you do have a show coming up, I
Yeah.
think on the 19th, if I'm correct, in November, right?
Yeah, we have a couple of shows coming up in November. Just let me take a quick look at my schedule here.
Yeah.
We have one the 5th coming up. Geez, let me take a look at this right here. Let me take a look at this. I'm sorry, I got to go through the emails,
Oh,
man.
no
I
worries,
just
man.
got
No
a
worries.
million of them. All right. Well, we have Atlanta coming, which is going to be on, I believe, the 5th. Then we have Amityville coming. And then we have Maryland coming, except for I just don't have the complete dates, all in November. So you might as well just look at it as there's going to be a show every weekend.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're just going to try to get out. Hopefully everything will pan out with Eric's visa situation, because we still have that going on,
Yeah,
which
for
is
sure.
kind of tough. But, you know, we've always got a plan B going on, so we're not really that worried. But still, we want to come out to you guys. Hopefully the people in New York will come out to the Amityville show. People down in Maryland come visit us, man. And Atlanta, it's going to be, should be a good one, man. There's a lot of bands on that bill, so it
Yeah.
should be
How long has it been since the band has played live? I know it's I think
19 months.
shit, that's a long ass time, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we did have our chances to play down here as a band, let's say maybe up until last February, and then after that, Eric had to go back home. But, we haven't been live on the stage in quite a while. So it's going to be really, really fucking super exciting when we get the chance to hit the stage
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
I think everybody's ready to vent that COVID bullshit out of their fucking systems right
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, at this, I mean, of course, you've been doing this for decades, but now because you haven't played for so long, do you feel like some anxiousness to fucking finally get out and do it?
big time. I mean, I can't even tell you how bad that we all just want to be up on a stage. It's like, if we could just be out there with our friends and our fans, just ripping it up, having a drink, and just, shooting the shit, watching good music, man. That's all we always want to do.
Yeah, and I'm sure these shows are gonna sell out if they're not close
I
to
hope.
already, man. Because
I hope. I hope. I just care about the underground fans that pay attention, man.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Have you
That's
been to
about
a show recently at all?
Not recently. I have some coming up shortly. Like a couple of my friends are going to be playing in some local venues out here over at St. Vitus in Brooklyn and a
Yeah,
few other places. So I'm going to go and check them out if I have the opportunity. But I haven't really been out at shows in quite a while, man. Because everything with COVID and just working down here, studio, yada yada yada. Everything has been a little. It still has remained busy, but not as busy as what we. I would prefer not to be in the studio. I would prefer to be out on the road.
that's right on tour. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's I've been to a few, and I mean, it's been fucking nuts, man. So
That's
you just
right.
like you.
Everybody's ready.
Yes.
Everybody's ready to pop, man. And it's unfortunately it's a sad thing to say that they're trying to keep us all at bay at being in a big venue together with everything. But now it's easing up. So let's hope that it stays that way and it stays the course like metal has.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Can't get rid of us, man.
Yeah, no fucking metal show with chairs and sitting down.
Yeah,
It just
exactly, exactly. You're not gonna make me be separate from all of my friends that want to bump into me and have a drink. Fuck that.
yeah, yeah. It's gonna be a good time. I mean, I wish I lived fucking closer so I can make those shows, but I mean, it's been a
Where
couple.
are you, Renee?
I'm in Texas, Corpus, Texas. Y'all
Ah,
actually
man,
played
I
here.
love it over there.
Yeah, y'all played here a couple years back.
Fuck
I
yeah, it
mean,
was nuts.
dude,
We
it
had a
was
great
fucking
time.
nuts.
It was fucking nuts. That tiny little place, we had a blast, man.
Yeah,
Big up to Kublai Khan, man.
yeah, yeah.
Fucking
That
awesome.
that show was fucking. I was right up front. I mean, getting bashed and everything.
I knew you looked
Is
a little
it
familiar to
it
me. I
was
knew it.
it was crazy, but of course, awesome. So, man, before we finish up, because I know you got some other ones scheduled. Anything else that you would like to promote? Anything, words for fans? Anything?
I mean, I would just like to say, November, we're coming back, so we'll be down in Maryland, Atlanta. We've got a local show up here in Amityville. Hope you guys can manage to get out. Take a look. It's all over fucking social media. It's in all over the Instagrams and the Facebooks and all the rest of that bullshit. So if you get a chance, come on out. Live in North America next month. Frank's Last Thing, please, if you guys can, go and pick it up and grab it and show him how much you love him. We're all going to miss him. I think it's a really good representation of what we are live, giving it to you guys so he can go out in a good way. Then next year, hopefully February, we'll be able to finish off the tour we were doing with Belphegor and Hate over in Europe. So everybody stay positive. Everybody stay safe with the COVID. Stay metal. Nuclear Blast, most awesome record label ever. Thank you to them for putting this out for us.
Yeah,
And I hope to see you guys all out there on the road soon.
fuck yeah. You know, yeah, we're all anxious to get back out there, man.
Can't wait, man.
Yeah, I wish you the best on release date. And your shows that you got coming up and everything else that you're going on. Of course, I always support Suffocation because I've been in it, at least a few decades too.
Right on, man. You know what I'm talking about,
Yeah,
man.
that's right. You
It's
take
in
care.
our blood. It's in our blood.
That's right. There's nothing else that'll move it as fast.
No, nothing. There's nothing.
All right,
So,
Terrance. I thank you for your time, man. I
be good,
appreciate it.
Renee. Be good, everybody out there in video land and fucking metal world. See you guys soon.
All right, thanks. Take care.
Be good, Renee.
Bye.
Peace.
Recording stopped.